Welcome in to episode 25 of our Let's Play Civilization 7 series here on the Manish Boost YouTube channel. We are in a move up episode. That's right, we'll be moving from the exploration age into the modern age, the final age of the game, progressing towards our win condition. Today, we are on turn 72, playing as Amina and the Songhai Empire, who will be playing as for the modern age. Stay tuned to find out. Let's see what civilization has in store for us today. Here we are in our capital of Gao. Probably the last time we'll see Gao as our capital as we move up to the modern age. Additionally, a fantastic thing has happened. Patch 1.3 released this past week as of this recording. It's been out for a couple weeks now when you're watching this, but 1.3 has hit a massive update to the game yet again from Firaxis. Really big balance changes across like 12 different civilizations. There is brand new leaders, brand new civs, and more coming out in another month. There is a large balance pass across a couple other things. We got hit by a couple of nerfs, I think. They nerfed the Grand Canyon. So Matara, I think we're still getting... So it says +1 science on flat terrain in this settlement. But I think we're still getting the +2 that it used to be currently. So will that change when we move up? I'm not sure. Because we already have the improvements down, I think the numbers have locked. So I think we're set on the +2 science here from the Grand Canyon, but they did nerf it. You can actually read the text. It only says +1 science on flat terrain in this settlement. We're still clearly getting that +2. Good for us. But they did nerf a few things. Mostly, I feel like they were buffing a lot of different things. And then something pretty big happened, and that is we now have access to a new building. So conveniently, we have a ton of gold to spend, and if you recall, we have 3 turns. There's 4 turns left. This turn is basically over. We have 3 turns left in the age. We are trying to get each of these done once, and we had bought everything in. Everything was already purchased into all of our cities. However, the introduction of the harbor came with patch 1.3. The harbor is a fantastic building, which allows for the building of a new warehouse building that pairs with the fishing quay. Essentially, the fishing quay is all about food. The harbor is all about production on fishing boats for your coastal tiles. This makes coastal tiles much better. Don't forget, as part of patch 1.3, they also introduced brand new resources in the water. They introduced a brand new way for resources to spawn in on the coast, guaranteeing more coastal resources, making coastal settles even better. This is arguably a very good thing for a civ like the Songhai, who like to settle in a more coastal fashion. We're obviously done settling, but we have quite a bit of opportunity to benefit from this, and the fact that the harbor was instantaneously added to this save means we get to go through and purchase a harbor in essentially every single one of our cities. So that is what we're going to go do really quickly. We'll start in our capital. We'll literally just move through and buy a harbor in every single place that we can. Why not? +1 production base and +1 production on fishing boats in this settlement. I mean, we've got fishing boats around. We would love to have that production. So let's buy our harbor in Gao. So we're going to purchase it. We have an empty spot right here next to our shipyard, and I think that's going to be the best spot to put it in. So we'll just go ahead and slap that down right there. We're just going to hit the next button. Timbuktu also needs a harbor, so we're going to go ahead and purchase that in. We'll put it right on top of our fishing quay, which I think is going to be the standard operating procedure. Is the fishing quay, the harbor are going to go together most of the time. You'll notice we're getting 9 production out of putting that down. Look at the production that immediately shows up on all of our fishing tiles. This makes, again, it makes coastal tiles so much better. It makes fishing boats so much better. I thought they were already pretty good. Now they're very good, and playing coastal-based civilizations is even more potent because of the addition of the harbor. It's an ageless building. It's available pretty early. I also noticed that, and I don't know if this is a change. I didn't remember reading this. I can now put a sawmill in Huma, and it appears that there are no restrictions on the sawmill anymore. I liked that they were river-based, but I guess that's just not the case anymore. Anyway, we might as well buy it, I suppose, by building the sawmill on a tile that gave us access to a river. So there's a river on this caravansary tile. So we could put a gristmill on this. I think we'll do that. So we'll gristmill here. So we should have probably tried to build something here and then build out to that, but I didn't know that at the beginning. And then we might as well fishing key and harbor just for the fun of it, right? Because we can. I mean, honestly, that's probably not worth it because we don't have any fisheries in this particular city, so it's not like or in this town, it's not particularly useful to us. But that does get us access to being able to do this. And putting that down on anywhere else that's viable, right? So just slap a couple of those down. It cost us a caravansary, which I'm not actually sure is like the best thing for us, but oh, we could put another one down. Oh, there's a caravansary here. That was desert. That is a desert tile that I forgot belonged to Huma. So there we go. So we just moved it. We just moved it over. Man, I did a lot of miscalculating on Huma, I feel like. So we didn't do a great job with that. All right, Lulami can grab a harbor. Again, we're just going to put it right there. Another harbor in Tenenku, and we just put it on top of the fishing key, I believe. Oops, that's good. We want to go ahead and purchase it, otherwise we won't get it. Chickasaw can also grab a harbor. That's going to go, sure, with the wharf, since that's where we can put it. That works for me. And Dirma, again, can get a sawmill. I'm very confused. Why can we get a sawmill here all of a sudden? It can be placed right here. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why we're able to build that now. They must have changed the requirements for that. The same here in Gobir, right? Like, we can get this, but we also can get the sawmill, which just feels so odd to me. It just feels so odd. But we might as well put it in. Since we can, we'll throw it down. The gristmill, however, still requires a river, but apparently the sawmill no longer requires a river. I wonder if that was to try to balance out the production that you're going to get on a coastal city with the harbor and the fishing improvements, as opposed to like your non-coastal cities needed an extra production buff, and making it not reliant on being placed on river was important to that somehow. I don't know, but our production is going through the roof in any of these different places. Axum, can we get a harbor here? It's not really that important for us to get a harbor. And actually, we can't. We would be replacing this, which is not even improved to put our harbor in. And that's not worth it, right? We might as well just save and just actually put a fishing boat on that. So the harbor will not go in. Well, I wish I would have put the harbor in instead of this medieval bridge, but hindsight, obviously, when you're thinking about that. Let's go ahead and I don't like it I like this by itself. That's kind of fun by itself. Let's go ahead and put it over here on the shipyard here. And then we know oh wait, we don't want to queue that though. We want to purchase it. Make sure we've purchased it. Saba can get one as well. We'll throw that in again. Not a huge benefit, but if we can, we might as well. And then we're back to Gao again. So, purchased in all of our harbors, which is great. Purchased in a bunch of sawmills, which is weird, but apparently a change that was, in fact, made. So we might as well have done it. So we did. And now we are finally ready to potentially hit next turn. I did notice that we have a ton of accumulated influence. I was wondering if we should just like start to send some of these to make our relationships better. We have a couple turns here where we can improve our relationships to people, which would not be the worst idea in the world. Like specifically like with Himiko, if we were to send her like military aid, for example, like she's going to accept and that like benefits our relationship. Anyone else who's like lower with us, like we could like offer open borders just to like bump our relationship, right? So we'll just like pump out open borders to everybody. Right? Because if we open borders everyone, then it should, over some period of time, our relationship with them should improve. The better our relationship is at the end of the age, the better it'll be at the start of the age. And because we're going to go for an economic victory, the better the relationship we have, the cheaper it is to get an economic victory when we get down to the nuances of the world banker or whatever, who's going to go around, and it costs less if you have better relationships with people. So we might as well work on improving those relationships right now while we had influence to spend. We're going to get that back up pretty quick because we're making 98 per turn, so we should be fine there. Gold, obviously, we have way too much of, and we can't even spend it down. Maybe we buy some boats and military units potentially at the very last turn. We'll see. All right, we move on. The next turn, flood. That flood does not impact us, although it is a large river. We have a city growth in Aksum, which is lovely. So we can finally get our cotton online down here. That feels pretty good. Grab that. That's so funny that we're just now getting that. Cotton has been sitting in there unimproved for a very long time. We're going to go back into our cultural festival anywhere where we need to, because again, that should finish on the same turn as we end, which I think is going to be just right for us. So we'll find out, I suppose. That cotton should have automatically gone in here. It did. And we could actually move something else in here too. I mean, probably just cotton, right? Just stack it. 2 turns left to a treasure convoy. So we are, in fact, going to get another treasure convoy out of each of our different cities, which I think is also quite funny. We want to check our missionaries too. We can put this guy to sleep. He's just hanging out, but we've got conversions everywhere. So we're looking good there. And if we come over to the more important ones, which are these ones, we got to make sure these ones all stay. Because, like say Jenny, right, is converted. And as soon as Jenny's converted, that means that we actually are not currently finishing our military path. See how we're missing 1 here? Because we've actually gone backwards by 1 because we don't have that convert in Jenny. So we need to just do this again. That will get our majority back. And now if we go back and look at military, we'll notice we're all the way up again, right? So it's a little bit tricky when you're this close to it because somebody could come in on the very last turn and make a conversion on one of your cities, and that could be very problematic as you're going. You're at the whim of RNG and whether they on the last turn the computer or the AI always goes after you, and so they can convert one of your cities. Even just putting 1 convert charge into it, and you would never have an opportunity to respond to that at the end of the exploration age, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is something you have to watch out for. All right, this boat is literally just exploring. We'll just keep them poking around in the ocean. We have similar situations going on here. Let's jump on land, see what's going on. It is fully connected. This is an inland sea. How fascinating. Look at this like beautiful mountain range that's like cutting them across. What a fascinating map. It's very beautiful. This guy can go to sleep. We've got missionaries sitting in most of these cities now. Might want to just buy one in each of them just in case. We have the gold to do it, so we probably should, to be honest. Search just to see. This missionary is waiting for the convert here, which is happening in 1 turn. So we'll be able to get another couple pieces of relics from that. This boat. Wait, what is this? We just passed this? Let's go grab this. One of the coastal village's elders has died. A ship has been prepared to service his grave. To ensure he has safe passage to the afterlife, we can comfort the mourners for 300 happiness, which is completely useless to us, or we get 120 influence, which is also completely useless. But we'll take that anyway. And I am going to funnily enough, I am going to purchase. I'm just going to buy missionary in each of these cities. I just want to have one sitting in each of them. We have seen amounts of leftover gold. There's a missionary. There's a missionary. There's one there. I'm going to buy one for Lulami just so that we have missionaries sitting in there, because I would like to get that final piece, the golden age for the military legacy path done. And just in case they send someone earlier that I can actually respond to it, we'll have somebody there at least to be able to do that. All right, let's go next turn. We have a treasure convoy that we have to do before we grab that next turn. This treasure convoy stopped for some reason, probably because they got interrupted. They won't make it all the way back, but that's fine. We'll try to get them there anyway. Here's our next turn. There is our future tech, which feels very good. So we got our future tech done. 2 turns until the age ends. My diplomatic action here has finished, so that's good. And Ohuatu has been fully converted by religion, so great. Great, so we happen to have missionaries literally just sitting here waiting for this particular instance. Boom. Fully converted back. Get your missionaries out of my land. Look, there's another missionary here, so we do have to watch very carefully for what's going on over here from a missionary standpoint. We'd like to keep our religion. Once the age transitions and ends, the religions are permanent. So if your religion is split between two, if a city's split between two religions, it will follow nothing in the next age. If it is following yours, it will follow yours. If it's following someone else, it will follow someone else. Does that matter? Only if you choose to keep your religious beliefs through one of your selections with your points at the end. So you could potentially keep those, yes, if you so wanted to. Okay, town growth in Lulami, and again, we're just going for largest. Actually, you know what we should be going for is caravansary spots. So we want to grab up desert tiles as much as we can. So for our growth, we actually want to grab any of the desert tiles that are good for us. So we'll go ahead and grab, I mean, any of these would work. We'll just grab this one. That will allow us to immediately buy a caravansary here. And actually, I'd kind of forgotten about that over the course of the last couple episodes, I think, is we've been growing onto tiles just because I thought that they had the most food. We probably should have been making sure in some of these other locations that we were actually growing onto tiles that gave us caravansaries, because they're so much more useful than anything else that we can get. Chickasaw can't grow onto anything except for these, so we'll just keep putting them down. Those are worth production now because fishing boats and the harbor. So that's always nice. We grab a suzerain bonus. Now, man, what are we gonna... It doesn't really matter, right? Receive a population in your capital. That actually kind of useful for us. Let's do that. We got a free tech still because we're still on the pre-patch 1.2.3. So we still have that free tech, which is funny. We have a leader attribute available, so we should check that. It is a diplomatic attribute, and that will allow us to select either happiness on palaces and halls, but I don't think we need that. Plus 25% towards supporting and rejecting diplomatic actions, or we can move towards having an extra policy slot by going that way. I don't really need this, and I don't really need this. These repeatables are not worth it anymore. Now, plus 2 culture and science per age for each city-state you're a suzerain of is not bad, but it's not a ton, right? If you think about the amount you're investing to become a suzerain, you're getting plus 2 culture and science per age. So I guess that's per age, so it'd be plus 6 culture, plus 6 science per suz. I mean, that's not bad, but I'm wondering if an extra social policy slot might be better, potentially, than that. I don't think we need the happiness, so I might go this direction, actually, to try to get that social policy slot. That might work out really nicely for us, so let's go ahead and do that. We can tech future tech, but it's not going to matter because we're not going to get there. So we'll just go like metal casting or something like that. Probably should have been standing right on it. There's 2 more relics. We can't like look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 relics that are not assigned anywhere. So that's a lovely thing. Let's go ahead and grab our culture festival again. We want to keep that rolling as best we can. Production to Lalibela will also go to the culture festival. We'll just keep those functioning. We got a treasure fleet that's arrived. That's not bad at all. You'll notice we've got lots more information on those. I can't remember if that was the last patch or patch 1.3, but right, this guy's good, so we could sleep him. This place is good, so we could sleep that missionary. This place is also good now, so we can sleep him. Lami looks like they are fine as well. And this boat, I mean, we're better off just exploring, right? Ah! Oh, look, there's more stuff to grab over here still. Unbelievable, really. All right, this guy is busy exploring as well. I mean, I guess we might as well explore the rest of this in here. Let's pop him over this way. And this boat will keep going this way. Just get as much explored as we can. And we are down to a couple turns left as we press the next turn button. Do we want to buy some boats? We do not have a large navy. It might be a nice thing to do on our final turn. Let's move away from these boats so we don't get shot. We'll think about it on this last turn here. Last turn we can purchase things anyway. One turn until the age ends. You'll notice this is not the last turn. We have one more, so we could do any of that in the next bit. Uh-oh. This storm is headed to the northeast, which means it is heading directly towards us. That is going to be a little bit painful. All right, Tendiku can expand, and we do have grassland and plains. So plains will get us access to yet another caravansary, so we'll go ahead and put that down. That feels pretty good. Tendirma has expanded, and do we have any... That's tropical, so we can't put anything on that. Everything else is fish. So we just go with reefs. What is this? Oh, these reefs are way better now. Wait, what is this +3 production? They buffed up the reef something fierce, eh? Oh my goodness, our numbers must have gone through the roof. All right, we'll go Culture Festival here. And Culture Festival again. And this treasure convoy. Yes, we would love another chunk of gold that we can't take with us. Many more treasure convoys. Love to see it. Missionaries can go to sleep. We'll just double check on, because I know there's a missionary up here. I don't know what this missionary is going to do, but I don't love that it's in my land currently and we're approaching the final turn. Like that's very iffy. It's very questionable. Look at this mountain range. Oh my goodness. Oh, you can't even get through it. Okay, next turn. And this will be the final turn of the age. There's our future civic. Perfect. Construction. There's a extra culture and culture buildings and a relic that we can't place anywhere. This dust storm has decimated Huma. Oh my goodness, everything is destroyed. We'll repair all of it. That's going to continue to move through us. Oh, where did that say? Lubani just got converted. Yeah, Lulami just got full converted. Oh no, I can't fix that. I don't have enough missionaries to fix that. Oh, wait. Can this missionary somehow... Oh, no. Oh, he can. I think he can. Because this, if he can get to here... I know this is in his land, right? Can we get here? How did they full convert on one? Is that like a special thing? See how important that was? Now he's still sitting right here, and he gets another turn. So it's entirely possible. Oh no, these guys needed it too! Oh my gosh, Teninku got converted as well, and we can't fix that. So we're not gonna get the golden. These guys got converted as well! Where is there even a missionary here? That's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable! Rebirth! The dark clouds dissipate, and the light illuminates the world once more. It shines on a changed landscape of new allegiances, of realignment, both spiritual and political. The old religious rivalries have quieted as nations establish fresh authority and leave their neighbors to their own affairs. All right. Oh, so frustrating. All right, well, these reefs are obviously way, way worth it now. I want to make sure we continue grabbing those. These guys don't have any of those, but that's okay. We'll just keep popping things down. This doesn't matter. Metal casting. We do have a leader attribute. Let's see which one we got. We got an expansionist point. We are all the way down to here. 15% yields in towns with a specialization, or 30% in distant lands. And we are going to specialize all of our towns in the next age. So that actually makes a ton of sense. Probably more so than our 5% growth rate, which honestly we probably should have taken a long time ago if we could have, because food would have been really nice early in the game. But obviously this new population is a really big deal. So I think we'll just take this because I'd like that 15% yields in towns with the specialization, since we are going to specialize every single town in just a moment here. So we'll go ahead and grab that. We'll pick a civic. We might as well just grab Kanta. And actually I learned something. I don't think we're going to get this anyway, but we actually won't get the settlement limit on Kanta 2, I believe. If you don't research a civic, you don't actually get that civic stuff. for some things. There are some things where that doesn't apply. Diplomatic actions and things like that, I think you do gain access to those in the next era, even if you don't research them on a civics tree or a tech tree. But settlement limit is one of those things where you actually must research the tech or civic in order to get access to that in the next age. So I don't think we'll actually get access to that, but it should be fine. I've got some pigs. Pigs and or truffles. It's actually truffles. This is 4 more treasure fleet points and another boatload of gold, which we're probably going to spend on boats, funnily enough. Oh, look at that. It's just a little bay. Oh, okay. Well, let's stay away from all those people that can shoot at us. Move that guy over here. We'll move this guy up in here just to see what's what. It's just funny that this little area exists. This guy actually is moving right to here. That takes us to the end of the age. And that means we should spend gold because we have way too much of it. So each of our cities probably should purchase something. And I'm willing to bet that we don't have a fleet commander, do we? I don't think we have a fleet commander, so let's purchase a fleet commander. I don't think I ever got one. Oh, we do. We had one somewhere. Okay, so we had a fleet commander. I don't know where they are, but there's a fleet commander somewhere. Oh, that's right. It's sitting in Matara. I totally forgot about the guy in Matara. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Forgot about the guy in Matara. Okay, so we got a fleet commander just in case, and then we might as well purchase boats. Do we want privateers? Privateers are new, which is exciting. And they're pretty fun to mess around with. I don't know that we're messing around with them in this game. Our next game that I'm planning, I think I'm definitely going to want to mess around with them. I think we should just buy galleons, though. Just buy heavy units. So let's go ahead and buy a galleon. Matara will just do the same thing. Like, we'll just buy boats. Because we have 2 fleet commanders that can hold up to 8. So we have 8 boats we can carry over just in our fleet commanders alone. And we only have 3 boats now. No, 4. We have 4 boats. So I could buy 4 more boats. Right? I think. We'll go ahead and do that. Volleyball can't buy anything, so we won't do it there. Let's grab another galleon. Maybe we should grab a couple privateers, but I don't know. The galleons are just better, I think. They don't move quite as fast, but... Alright, so that should get us enough galleons, right? We'll buy 1 extra just for the fun of it. And that spends down almost none of our gold. And then we don't need... You know what? We could get another fleet, another commander, right? We have units that are not packed into generals. So we could go to like Lalibela and buy another army commander. That's not a bad idea. Repair! Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, the Haboob touched that. Lalibela got hit by the Haboob a little bit. Okay. That's good to know. What's funny is we might get hit by it over here as well. That's okay. So the only sad thing is this right here. The Tenon coup will not be following our religion transferring over. I mean, other places might not either, depending on what happens here in just a second. So let's press the next turn button and bring an end to the exploration age.
Visitors mistook Songhai cities for wondrous mirages, but such brilliance was real, and so they shifted the world.
And there we have it, the end of the exploration age, and we head to the modern... oh wait, did we get 3? Did we get 3 legacy points on this? How did we end up getting this? Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, see, we didn't get it. We shouldn't have gotten it anyway. We got everything else. We are solidly in the lead with most of the points. Missed one here, which was a bummer. And we move into the modern age. And the question becomes, who will we be playing in the modern age? Now, we're going to be going for an economic victory. So there are certain advantages to then choosing economic-based civilizations. Great Britain would be a great example of one where economic, but they also have some production buildings as well, which are really, really helpful. So Great Britain is a great option if you're going for an economic victory. There are other options as well, and you can see there's plenty of them. We have several locked ones still down here. Russia, Nepal, French Empire, and America. We didn't do what was necessary to unlock them. However, my selection may surprise you. I'm actually going to go with a more geographically correct selection in this particular game rather than going with the best option for getting our victory condition done. I would like to play as Buganda. I have never played as Buganda before. That's one of the reasons why I would like to do it. Let's check out the details on Buganda. So we get river raids, gain culture when pillaging buildings or improvements equal to the other yield gained. Land military units gain the amphibious ability, and we get 30% production towards the Mzubu Azala Mpanga, which is the wonder that they're associated with. So not a lot there that's really critically important for us. In fact, there's absolutely nothing about these particular things here that is important for us for an economic victory. But again, I just want to try them out, and I want to I just want to see how they play. We might go do some pillaging. I don't know. We'll see. We get access to their unique unit, the Bamboa, the Bugandan infantry unit. It heals 10 hit points from pillaging any tile. So that's going to be any tile you get the hit points from, not just the tiles that typically would get you hit points. And I'm assuming that it gets maybe bonus hit points when you do another one. I'm not sure. You also get access to a unique army commander, the Mwami, the Bugandan unique military commander. 50% yields from pillaging within the command radius. That is a lot, especially when you combine it with gain culture on pillage buildings improvements equal to the other yield gained, and then you get 50% yield on both the gain and the culture bonus. That could be a lot of culture. You could go culture very, very quickly, doing just a minuscule amount of pillaging potentially. And you also get access to Kabaka's Lake, the Bugandan unique improvement. +3 happiness receives the lake yield bonuses, including yields for all of Buganda's abilities, and the Mbuzu Azala Mpanga Wonder. It's an ageless thing, which doesn't matter to us. It does not remove warehouse bonuses, as do all improvements, and it must be placed on an existing improvement on flat terrain, 1 per settlement. So only 1 per settlement, and it basically creates a lake on that. So I'm just really interested in seeing what it looks like. Again, you can see from this does not help us in any way, shape, or form go towards our victory condition. It would definitely help us if we were going towards the victory condition like a military victory or something like even a science victory, which seems odd, but you would be increasing your production by pillaging potentially. If you pillage the right tiles, maybe you could make an argument for that. But definitely lends itself to culture, right? You could get a lot of culture very, very quickly through a pillage economy with the Bugandan Empire. So we're going to play Buganda as kind of more of a passive play and just kind of see how they work out at the end. Are we going to get a fast victory? No, but we pretty much got the game in hand at this point, so I'm not too concerned about that. And I like the idea of going Aksum to Songhai to Buganda. I feel like there's a nice geographic theme there. And I'm gonna stick with that for this particular game. So here we go. All right, we have, as per usual, just about 1 million things to do, so we'll do our best to get through all of them in this particular episode. Everyone should have been redistributed, as you'll notice. In fact, you will. We have units strewn across the land. In future games, we'll definitely play with continuity on, because I like the continuity rule set quite a bit better than the standard kind of redistribution and everything. So everyone is kind of everywhere right now. We have about 1 million decisions to make, so we'll start working through those. We'll go ahead and close out all of these. We have the Bugandan civics available to us. We have some boosts available from things we did in the last one. We see that some of our relationships have shifted. A lot of them kind of maintained, though, right? We went about the same with Himiko. We went down a little bit with Napoleon. Everyone else is still neutral with us. That's totally fine. We'll work on what that might look like here as we get into our victory condition and the fact that we do want to improve those to the best of our ability. Our first order of business is to select our legacies. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, this requires a little bit of back and forth, so I'll probably edit out a lot of my movement between the two. We want to check like what's going to be best for us between our paths, so we'll go ahead and check that out a little bit as we go. Interestingly enough, it does look like we got all 3 points for the militaristic tree, despite the fact that we ended without the right number. It gave us all 3, and in fact, it also gave us the golden age for non-sufficient orbis. So you must only have to hit it the one time, and then it doesn't matter other than that? I did not realize that. I thought we were losing a point for sure when that happened, but apparently that is not the case. Okay, so we could choose plus 10 production for settlements in distant lands. That's not bad. We have quite a few of those. That would end up netting us a lot of gold and then some production in our one city. That's a pretty decent one. Non-sufficient orbis golden age gain an infantry unit and a ranged unit in all of your distant land settlements. We could train up an army ridiculously fast if we wanted to. That would be a bunch of infantry and ranged units. We don't really need that because we already have our armies already full. Again, if we were going for some sort of war-oriented final age, this is such a big deal. An infantry and a ranged unit in all of your distant land settlements. How many? We have, what did we end up with? 6? Yeah, we had 6. So that's 6 infantry and 6 ranged units. Just right off the bat to go along with everything else we carried over. That'd be pretty good, right? I think we're going to take this, and then we'll have to decide whether we're taking the expansionist or military point. We'll go jump into that and figure those things out in a little bit. Let's go through and select each of our larger ones outside of the cards. So we can also take, based off of the crisis we had, +4 happiness in all settlements not following your religion. That's not good for us because we would not get anything for that. Most of our all but one, in fact, are following our religion. We can retain shamanism, which is always very tempting. +2 culture for every tundra tile in other civilization settlements following your religion. Remember, this is fully based off of those settlements that were following your religion at the end of the age. Now, if we would have focused on converting some of the other continents, tundra cities, then I think that it would have been maybe worth it to consider sticking with the Tashakana Golden Age and getting that shamanism again. I don't think we focused hard enough on it to make it worth it. In fact, this +2 culture per relic at +58 is probably, I would argue, like very similar to the Tashakana, possibly, right? So we might even want to just take this +58. Even this +58 might not be worth it. It might be worth it just to grab a bunch of like pulp points potentially as well. So we'll go ahead and select this for now, and then we'll make a determination on what's useful for us for points here in a second. Once again, for the Treasure Fleet Golden Age, all of our cities from the previous age remain cities. In addition, our distant lands cities gain 2 population. This, to me, is a must-have, unless for some reason you're playing a really low city game and you're attempting to not have a bunch of cities. I really think this is super useful. We can also get this, +2 gold per turn per unique resource you have. We're going to have some of that. I mean, it'd be an okay amount of gold, but this, initially, this investment is so huge because it costs so much gold to get all your cities back up and running that we're just going to take the Treasure Fleet Golden Age. We already know that. That's going to be the Golden Age one that we select. Again, you can only pick one Golden Age, one per thing, right? So that eliminates our Tashakana Golden Age. That eliminates our non-sufficient Orbis Golden Age. We're doing this because it's going to get us cities faster. Those cities are then going to turn us into an economic victory, hopefully, more quickly. We also can't get the Enlightenment Golden Age anymore either. But not something I'm overly concerned with. Now, we could get Lyceums, +3 science per turn for each quarter. We're not going to have any quarters, number one, to start off this age because we didn't have any unique buildings throughout the entire time. We've been playing with unique improvements the whole time, so it would take us a while to get these quarters up and running. I don't think that Lyceums is worth it. It's just not, you don't get quarters up and running fast enough for Lyceums to be valuable most of the time. So we're probably just going to end up taking a couple scientific attribute points here. Rather than trying to turn this into something. So probably just grab both of these and then leave it at that. Ohatu can upgrade to a city and it becomes the capital. Or we can make Axum the capital. We don't want to make Axum the capital. They were already a capital. I really like Axum. I want to keep them that. I like to make a different city the capital each time just so that we get that kind of historical reference throughout. So I think Ohatu being our capital city will be renamed to Kampala. I believe that they have a lake, right? So I think it will make sense that they sit on a lake next to coast. Like I feel like that's going to make a really good Ugandan capital potentially. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we have to choose the rest of our points. So we are debating between the expansionist and militarist attribute point. So we'll go ahead and check that really quickly. So the expansionist point is going to be worth more for us here than the militarist. It's not worth a ton, but we'll go ahead and we'll grab that to start with. Cultural versus diplomatic. We're going to take the cultural here. The diplomatic could get us a policy card, so we'll think about that for our wildcard option. Cultural, I think, will boost our culture by quite a bit in different ways, so we'll grab a cultural point here. And then we have the economic attribute point, and I think we'll just go ahead and take, we'll just take one, at least, economic attribute point. And that leaves us with we have an extra science, which we could then spend our wild card on this +3 science per quarter, but I don't think we want to. So let's take a look, and we want to figure out what our most important card is that we can get, because we have access to getting, except science, right? We have 2 science cards already. We're already spending on 2 of the science card attribute points, so we can't get a second of those. But we could get another economic or another diplomat or another militarist or expansion, right? So let's do one last check on what would be our most valuable thing. So I am actually going to take the diplomatic and get that extra social policy card with it. That I think is going to be the best way to spend it. There are other options, but an extra policy card slot seems like it could be very valuable to us, especially early on, to give us a little boost towards what we're trying to do. So here is our legacy planning. As we stand, that's going to give us a whole bunch of different points we need to put in. So let's go ahead and confirm those. Wasted 1 science point, but I think it's fine. I think it will be fine. Okay. We got to move through a bazillion different things now, so I'm going to go by what they say, and then we actually have some extra things we have to do towards the end as well, so we'll see how quickly we can get done. We have city growths across the board to be able to put stuff in. I do think that we are going to want to just start putting in specialists in different locations. Preferably, we want them over our production buildings, because we're going to go for an economic victory, which means we want railroads, which means we want factories. And factories are production building, and if we're going to probably try to get our production buildings in as quickly as possible, because production becomes probably most important in the economic victory condition. It's definitely very important for the science victory as well, but it's very important for economic to get the factories in as quickly as possible, as well as the railroads, as well as the ports. There's a bunch of stuff we want to put in. So if we don't have specialists in these, then we certainly want to have those. Otherwise, it'd be nice to get kind of optimal benefits from other things. We already, Gao is an interesting one because it's already got stuff here. So you'll notice that our bonuses are not so great because right now we don't have any adjacency, right? We don't have any unique districts or unique quarters that keep their adjacency. In other words, the specialists would still be very valuable in those because they keep their adjacencies, and specialists function off of adjacencies. We don't have any of those, so all of our, until we overbuild and actually start getting adjacencies back, our specialists aren't really doing much for us in this particular gameplay, right? Because we don't have those uniques. So the fact that we're probably going to go after like some gold ones first, and then probably some of the, that's best for us, to be honest. So if we're maxed out here, I'm honestly tempted just to go up here and take the extra production of working a mountain, because we can now work mountain tiles. And I know it feels weird, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm just going to work more tiles. We have to have more, and I'm just going to keep working tiles, I think. That feels weird. Normally, you'd be going for specialists probably at this point, but Gao has a lot of specialists already, and we don't want to overdo that and then like cause them to end up in some sort of happiness issue, right? All right, Gobir is going to have a bunch of growth as well. This is going to be just placing on the best possible tiles, right? I actually want to take a look. Did we get any unique resources? No, it doesn't look like we did. It doesn't look like any of the new resources spawned in. You can already see they changed the image for fish, which is kind of fun. So we'll just be looking for our best tiles. And I think we got all of our reefs in here already. You got to see that we probably did. This one gets us extra gold, apparently. So something Oh, is that one of the new? Oh, it's ocean. So we can work ocean tiles now. Oh, right, that's another change with patch 1.3. We can work ocean tiles in the modern age. Now, Hawaii, a exploration age civilization, can work ocean tiles in the exploration age. But everyone, very similar to how everyone could work mountains in the modern, we can now all work ocean tiles as well. And honestly, I think the extra gold is probably well worth it on the ocean tiles rather than taking the extra food, I think. So I think I'm gonna go with that for the most part. Now, unfortunately, we can't build caravansaries anymore. But again, optional, like big food feels pretty good. So let's just put this farm down. If we can, because we're gonna specialize all these towns, and so that's gonna distribute their food back into our cities for the most part, which I think is gonna feel really nice for us. Again, we'd be looking for reefs if we have them. So there is a reef still right here that gets us that science. So we'll go ahead and put down on the reef there. Tenenku is going to have 2 growths, I believe. And so, again, we could just work some of these tiles, or we have no specialist placed here whatsoever, right? And so we could go to our dungeon and armor and just put our specialists in advance, which I think is what I'm going to do. Oh my gosh, we have 3 growths here. 3 growths. I'm just going to max out our specialist in the dungeon armor. Again, not getting anything out of that right now, per se. However, once the adjacencies are back on that tile, we will be getting some nice bonuses on that as well. Okay, I think we move to our ocean tiles here again. Go ahead and just start working those ocean tiles, which is a pretty cool thing that we get to do. Kampala also. Oh, Kampala, which is our brand new capital city. That's exciting. So we would like to probably, where do we get the best bonuses? Actually, our palace actually would probably be a really good place now to get those, because the palace is going to have those adjacencies for quarters. Which, do we have any? That's not going to count as a quarter anymore. The bath is not a quarter. So we actually don't have, okay, we do. We have one, at least one bonus quarter here. And I think that wonders, I don't know if wonders count as a quarter or not. Anyway, I feel like we should probably just put some specialists in our palace, because the palace always has adjacency, right? Which is kind of nice. Oh, we get access to some furs, which we don't mind at all. That sounds like a good idea. Furs, what a new spawn it looks like of furs, because we didn't have furs there before. And then we can work our ocean tiles, which makes us much more useful here. So we'll go ahead and grab the ocean tiles. Start fishing on ocean tiles when we can. More growth in Tendirma. We got a reef over here, so we'll go and grab that for the science. There's another reef here that we're still not working in Tendirma, so we'll go ahead and try to make sure we get those in. Matara growth is very important. Now, Matara growth, we're going for these, right? We don't need to go for them anymore, per se. We do need flat tiles. We do need flat tiles still for our once per settlement, right? For our unique quarter. It is flat plains. I think we should work this. Rather than taking the growth here, I think we should work this so we can put our lake tile there. Let's do that. Bella has a growth. We could work some mountain tiles, which actually would not be the worst idea ever. That's a 3 production mountain. Take the 3 production on this mountain. And then we'll go up to this one because it's got 4 happiness on it. And I guess we're just gonna, I'm not gonna put any specialists in here, I guess. At least not right now. We'll work all the tiles to boost up our production as much as we can. Ichmara is ready to go. They're just gonna work some more fishes. Axum, our original capital city, is ready to grow as well. This fishery would be really nice, probably. Let's go and get the fish in. Probably should be putting them down in this dungeon armor, but again, like, it's very tough to do that when I've got production just like sitting here. I'm gonna work all these tiles. Axum is now fully working every single rural tile. All right, Huma is ready, and I mean, technically we want food here, so I guess we just put these mines down. Chickasaw has one growth left. All right, well, Chickasaw can't grow anymore, so we might want to turn them into a city. Otherwise, well, actually, no, we'll just specialize them. We'll just specialize them. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Okay, so now we are down to our production. So we've got all of our growths in. Now we have to pick our production. One thing that you will notice is city parks are very expensive. Groceries are not as expensive, but it's getting you food. And what are you going to do with food? Not too much at this point in the game. My mode of operation for the beginning of the modern age, especially when you're going for an economic victory, but not limited to that, is to go merchants and merchants only. Remember, all your trade routes have reset. Merchants become critically important for any victory, but specifically for an economic victory, we really want to go after merchants. So we're pretty much going to build merchants everywhere, right? Yeah, there's trade opportunities everywhere. I understand that. Thank you. Every production, every one of our cities is more than likely just going to end up building merchants. It's gone to resources next, so I guess we'll go to resources. You'll notice that we now have a bunch of our resources that have turned into factory resources. We have access to quite a few, actually, which is nice. Quite a few factory resources without even having to trade, so that's going to be helpful for us. And then any resource that is not a factory resource, we can slot. Factory resources we cannot slot till we have factories built in our cities or towns, and so we'll have them just sitting here, unfortunately. But the rest of them we can indeed put in. So we want to start with our city resources, probably. Most of them are all happiness related. And we probably want to put the silk still gets us culture though. So we probably want, it doesn't actually, there's no percent modifier off of this anymore. So we probably would like to just, it doesn't matter which city we put them in. If we find Axum, which is way down here, let's take towns off and just look at cities for a second. So Axum down here is the one where we want most of our stuff slotted because, again, we still have Tombs of Askia there, right? So we'll go ahead and throw a bunch of stuff in here because we would like to get, I mean, most of the stuff we have, might want to spread out our production. So we'll go ahead and maybe spread our production out across our cities, but I want to max out Axum. Oh, +6 happiness in the capital. Okay, so we'll pull that out. Maybe we leave that out for a second. And so let's go to our capital. We'll make sure this goes in the capital because it's getting us maximum happiness, which is good. And then I want to spread the, like, Kampala can get 79 production, right? Gao also could use some production at 70. So we'll spread that out just a little bit. And then this is all happiness related stuff. So let's just check our happiness in our cities. It's probably fine. So I'm going to pull this and this out. I'm going to pull this as well and this. That's all food related stuff. So we don't need it in our cities. So we got our city resources all assigned, and then we'll take a look. Once we bring our towns back in, we've got food, and happiness, food, and happiness. Again, all of which could just get slotted into towns at this point, right? And in fact, the food that gets distributed out from our towns is probably like a better use of food anyway, I would think, except the exception to that, of course, is in Axum, where I'm just going to grab, let's say, like the food happiness maybe combo, and we'll put that in Axum so that we have another slotted resource there, right? So places where we want more growth. Huma doesn't matter for growth, probably. This is production, so I'm going to pull that. We're going to put it into a city. And then we got fishes kind of spread around. Lulami also has this. That's production. We're going to pull that out. And let's go ahead and spread fish around. We'll just like give everyone a little something in each of our towns. I don't think it really matters so much what we do. And then for happiness, we probably want to be looking for who has the lowest happiness ratings. About 2 is pretty low. Look at them, boost it up a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll just go back to our cities. We have a couple pieces of production again. So Tenenku, for example, maybe could get a little extra production. Lollibella maybe get a little extra production as well. And so we just kind of spread stuff around otherwise. We could probably maximize this a little bit more, push for production in a particular city. But I think we'll end up getting access to a ton more resources through trade very quickly. So I think we'll go with this. We'll go with this layout for now for our resources. Okay, we can pick a science. And this is where it starts to get important to be looking at what's important for your victory conditions. We need to get to mass production. Mass production gets us to factories. We need factory points in order to win an economic victory. So we need to get to the factory as quickly as possible. Now, there's also other things to consider, such as Oxford University is probably the most powerful wonder in the age. So we might want to take a shot at Oxford. It gets you 2 free technologies, which is a really big deal, and a wildcard attribute point. So in most games, you probably want to take a shot at Oxford if you can. And then we can get into like steam engine for the ironworks and the port, then probably military science for the military academy. And then we're working our way specifically through to the rail station, which we need, and then to mass production, right? So probably going to go academic, steam engine, military science, into industrialization, into combustion, into mass production. It's probably how it's going to go for us if you're going for an economic victory almost every time. But I'm going to start by trying to take a shot at Oxford. So we're going to go in that direction first. We're going to choose a civic. Normally, if you're going for a culture victory, you would immediately be going after natural history because it is it's very potent. And so you might want to grab that to get access to start getting your digs from your artifacts from your explorer people. However, Dago Onsen is pretty good. Hermitage is got 3 artifact slots, so it's another consideration that you might have to make. And then obviously here, unfortunately for us, the Mizubu Azala Mampanga is available just like immediately, which means we probably should just go for natural history, because if we go to our Buganda civics, we don't even get access to that until our second one, which again, they need to fix this kind of stuff, because there's no advantage for us except for the fact that we get like bonus, we get bonuses towards producing it, but we can't even get it until we get our mastery here. So yeah, I want my Kabaka's Lake, but it doesn't make any sense to put off trying to build our wonder. We'd have to wait 5 turns and a mastery when we could just get straight access to it in 2 turns, getting natural history. It just feels like there's like you're not giving an advantage from a civics tree standpoint to that at all. So we'll just go natural history because it gets us access to that. Then once we have access to our wonder, we'll build it, and then we'll go back into the Buganda civics and see what we want to do. Let's take a look at these though, because I think that some of them might be kind of interesting. So obviously we read about Kabaka's Lake already. Then the other bonus here is +2 culture and food on lakes and navigable rivers, which we have some of, which would be very nice. The mastery here gets us +1 movement on embarked units, and it's behind my head so you can't see it. I apologize for that. Can I move it over? No. Well, a little. And then obviously gets us access to our wonder and clan society, +3 happiness on settlements for each other friendly settlement within 6 tiles. Interesting. So a nice little happiness boost. Over here, we get 50% yields from healing, yields and healing from pillaging. So again, pillaging buildings becomes really nice with that. Pillaging grants experience to friendly commanders within their command radius. Oh, that's interesting. And +6 combat strength for all units when adjacent to a lake. Probably not super useful for us. Here we have +1 culture and happiness on quarters adjacent to lakes and navigable rivers. Again, we have quite a few of those, which could be potentially good for us. And here we get settlements adjacent to lakes gain +1 population, and all buildings gain adjacency from lakes. Wow, they make lakes very powerful. How many lakes do we have? We'll look at that as we kind of move through, but that's nice. There's no lakes in Batar. There's no lakes in Lalibela. Axum has a lake here. So there is a lake here. I don't think this counts as a lake. It is. This is one big, oh, right, because this is connected. So we have a lake here as well. We don't have a lot of quarters adjacent to this lake, unfortunately, because we never ended up getting real control of Chickasaw. But we do have a lake here. And then we have another lake here. And this is why I think Kampala ended up being kind of a nice place. We should have probably planned some stuff out. But again, like we get adjacency to this lake here. So there are some nice lakes that we have in our empire. Not a ton, but there are several that we can probably take advantage of. And then I think if we come over here, I don't think we have any lakes here. No lakes in the New World. So some lakes, not a lot of lakes. I don't feel like there's ever, like, I don't know, you'd have to really build your empire around lakes to fully take advantage of Buganda. And the problem is you'd have to be building your empire around lakes very early to then take advantage of Buganda, right? So I don't know, you're sitting in a tough spot. All right, let's check out our social policies. We have an extra social policy slot, don't forget. Or did we do that yet? No, we haven't done our points yet. Let's do our points because that's important. So first we have a cultural point. We can get 5 culture per age in cities with at least 1 wonder. We have quite a few cities with a wonder. 5 culture per age is 15 culture at this point. +1 culture and settlements for each resource assigned. We do not have a lot of resources assigned right now. This, I think, is actually going to be better for us than the other one. So let's go ahead and take this for now. That's going to be 15, pretty much in every city. Every one of our cities has a wonder built in it. So let's go ahead and grab that. It's going to be 15. Basically, it's 15 culture in every one of our cities. Which is, I mean, at this point, it's not a huge number, but that's a pretty decent number, eh? Okay, we have a diplomatic point, and that's going to get us our social policy slot. I don't think we want any of this other stuff. We don't really seem to need happiness, and I'd love the ability to put an extra policy slot in. Why not? Hopefully that ends up being useful to us. We have 1 economic, and you notice we have just filled up the economic tree. +10 gold per age for every alliance you have. What is that? Could be like, if we get 1 alliance, that's 30 gold. I mean, we could just take the +5 gold per age repeatable. That's because that's 15. That's 15 right off the top. And we don't have any alliances currently. Unless someone will make an alliance with us. Will Napoleon ally with us? We can't do that yet. So that doesn't make any sense to put in. So we're just going to take the repeatable. We'll take the repeatable. That's 15 gold straight up. So that's fine. All right. Expansionist, we can go with the growth rate, or we can just take a settlement limit. I don't really want to settle again. I don't feel the need to. But we could, I guess, if we found a spot to put a city down, if we get access to a bunch of resources or something. Or +1 food in cities per town you own, repeatable. You have quite a few towns. Does this matter? We just take the growth? I don't know. We'll take the repeatable. Why not? No militaristic points. We didn't choose any. And 2 scientific points. This right here, 20% gold and happiness towards maintaining buildings, is pretty substantial. Now, it won't be super substantial right at the outset of an age because your buildings are your old buildings don't have like heavy maintenance costs necessarily. Because they're the ones that have expired that are overbuildable don't. I think that just doesn't benefit them as much, or doesn't benefit them at all. I can't remember how this works, but this definitely is really well worth it. You get a massive boost to gold and happiness if you do this. So we'll go ahead and take that one, and then we can choose either reducing our tech science needed for tech masteries, which could be useful. We could just choose a science for each resource, but again, we don't have a lot of resources assigned right now. Or we could take +1 science on specialists, or +2 if you have 3 or fewer cities. And we don't have 3. We do have quite a few specialists though, and we're going to be adding in more specialists. So I think it's actually probably best to have this right now. Most of the time, I'd probably lean in this direction, but I think that we have. Oh man, I think we have more specialists than we have resources available right now. Well, let's take a quick look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. 23. I don't think we have 23. I don't think we have 23 specialists yet, right? Like, we look at specialists here. I can't remember what it was. It was. I don't know if it even tells us. It's got to be somewhere. Somewhere it's going to tell us where specialists are. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 or something here. I don't think we have that many specialists. I've changed my mind on this one. I think I am gonna go with the resource one. Hopefully that booster. We could have checked how much that was gonna boost our science, but we've boosted stuff up enough. And now we see we have our 4 policy slots. Let's go ahead and get our policy slots in. Port of Nations is gonna be very good for us, and we're gonna start getting trade routes out pretty quick. So we might do that. 50% gold in cities adjacent to coast. We still only have just the 1, although it might be useful. +2 culture on resources, which is pretty good. Plus 50% production towards constructing gold buildings. And +1 gold and production on gold buildings in plains or desert. That's not bad at all. About +2 gold on rough terrain, on mines, if there's at least 1 gold building in that settlement. Now, I don't know if this actually counts based off of the gold buildings we currently have. We have 4 policies to put in. So let's go this, and this, and then we don't have any trade routes, but we're going to get trade routes really quickly. So rather than the 50% gold, which this benefits us immediately though. I don't know. I'm gonna take Port of Nations. We're gonna just put it in right away. Okay. So that gets that done. Let's go to our production now. And again, we're just going to produce merchants in every city. I'm just going to go with merchants so we can get stuff out. Merchants, merchants, merchants. Everybody does a merchant. And now we have our military units, which are all over the place. Now, the person that is the most mad at us, who we could declare war on and pillage easiest, is Himiko. So, And look, you'll notice, conversion. On the last turn, we lost Kusa, we lost Lahana. So our shamanism bonus would not have been that great, just on the outset. Okay. So I do think we should start moving our armies in that direction, just on the off chance that that's something that we do want to end up doing. So let's head in that direction with our armies. We have another commander over here. Where's our other commander? Over here. And they are fully loaded. So that commander can also... They're already like ready to potentially declare war. We can go burn down quite a few things if we want to take advantage of some of that ridiculous pillaging. We might want to do it like a little bit later. We want to get some of those cards in maybe before we do it. So we'll go ahead and maybe just like fortify armies in. The rest of the units here, we do have another commander. This commander here could army up, right? Okay, here's a full fleet. And again, we could have this fleet do some stuff up here. So they can maybe just sit here even. It's a fleet commander with full fleet. So we could just have them hang out for a little bit until we decide. So both of our fleets ended up right here, which is kind of perfect if we want to do some pillaging in and around this area. So no one ended up back down here, which again is kind of funny. Just go on to alert in all of our cities to get that done. Okay, and then we have a next turn button pop up. The last thing we need to do before we do that, there's two things we have to do that is very important in any given playthrough, and that is we need to invest our influence in our city-states or trade routes, and we need to specialize all of our cities. That is something that I think we will save for our next episode. So stay tuned. First turn of the modern age is complete, minus the fact that we need to specialize our towns and we need to spend our influence. So that is what we'll start our next episode with. We will also in the next episode go over our victory condition. What do we need to do and what is our path to victory from an economic standpoint? So we will press in that direction for our next episode. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. If you like the content, hit that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know when we release these videos. I appreciate you, and I'll see you for the next one.